All right, we're going to talk about Lions Sunday Night Football on NBC. Had a thriller there.
That was a horribly good, fun, terrible game.
And the Lions win on a field goal late. But it was really a weird game.
It was.
In that Jared Goff turned into Jared Tennis. And, this is where a lot of people have always been. And this is why I always talk about the MVP. It just takes one bad night. And I mentioned this to you. And then you're out of the running. You're like, this is if you haven't won it or you don't have a track record.
Well,
you know
chasing
what I mean?
Lamar Jackson, you couldn't be any more right. Meaning,
Right.
if he were chasing who else? A Josh Allen or something.
But he right.
Lamar stuff looks so incredible.
And then you have a
it's-
night like last night where he throws 5 interceptions. It's just hard to come back from that. 'Cause
Couple
when you do
were
the
horrible
numbers,
too. Like it wasn't. 3 of them were off a guy's chest where it's like
they're bad.
He threw some that I was like, bruh.
But we do have. Do we have a hot take, Rob G? All right, here we go. Let's hear it.
Time to reheat an old hot take that's
All right,
gone
let's see what it
cold.
is.
My chest is out.
All right, let me see first.
It's Microwave Take with the Odd Couple.
I'm going to take the Texans.
You
You
don't
just
believe
said
that.
they stunk.
Nico's coming back
Nico's
this
back.
week.
I think he misremembers.
Nah,
right? He's back.
They don't got enough. They
He
don't got
is
enough
back.
offense
He's
to keep up with
back.
the Lions, man. There you have it, folks.
Jared
Enjoy
Goff,
your
4 interceptions. Wow. Well, I was off. I was wrong. I'm admitting that I was wrong. I said 4, and Jared Tennis had 5.
I was wrong.
He had 5.
He did. But the best part is you ignored
I
the entire
underestimated
first.
him. I underestimated him.
You
how bad
ignored
he
the
was.
entire first half of the take.
No, I picked the Texans, and this is my thing. A colossal choke job by the Texans. I don't know. And have we seen the stat yet, Rob G? A team that gets 5 interceptions and doesn't win in the NFL is almost unheard
The
of.
last team to do that was, believe it or not, Matt Ryan and the Falcons had did that.
yeah.
I want to say in 2011. That was the year. But
So-
they'd done it too.
Yeah.
But usually 5 interceptions, you're losing
right,
the game.
when you okay, Rob G, what else you got?
Oh, it gets even worse than that, Dub. You were right on track, but here's one that makes it even worse if you're a Texans fans. Teams were 373 1-1 when leading by at least 15 points
Right.
and securing at least 5 interceptions.
It's just
First
unheard
of all,
of.
that don't even sound like that many games have been played in history. That's 300. You never want to be on the opposite end of 373 of anything. That is incredible.
What is it? 3?
373.
373 1-1.
That is absurd.
It is, but that is how the chances of losing that game. But here's the big thing, and
wanna
we
hear
asked
this.
you, what did you take from this? Because I heard some takes. Oh, it tells me about a good team and them being able to win when they don't play well, and
don't
it's
like
a
the way you're
reflection of the
dismissing that.
Lions. And of course, I don't see it that way. And here's the reason why.
I'm going to let you go ahead.
Because, of course, they didn't dive deep enough into the Texans to really be able to validate that.
Okay.
If you told me that the Texans were a great second-half team, and my God. See, I always go back to Bill Belichick and the Super Bowl against the Rams when Jared Goff was quarterback. Mm-hmm. They averaged 35 points that year, and they got 3 in the Super Bowl. That tells me you did something to stop a team like that. The greatest show on turf, again, got stopped in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? In this case, the Texans were right on script. The Lions didn't do anything that no one else has done. Hear this. They haven't scored a touchdown in the second half in a month. You hear me? In a month. Coming into Week 10, the Texans were averaging 9.1 points in the second half. They haven't scored a second-half touchdown since Week 6. It ain't about the Lions' defense because whoever they played, the Jets shut them out in the second half last week, right? The week before. This season, Houston has been outscored by 59 points after halftime, with that differential ranking them 31st in the league. So the Lions didn't do anything special. The Texans did and were who we thought they were.
Okay.
They did what they've done all year long. That's why this was a choke job and not an unbelievable win by the Lions.
Number one, if everything you just said was true, why'd you pick the Texans? If you're telling me everything you just said.
Because I thought that Jared Goff would throw 4 picks.
If you're telling me.
Because I just told you. I did not say that.
I'm saying, but if you're saying they don't score in the second half, they don't do this, they don't do that.
Because if you get 4 interceptions, you should score.
Right. So here's where I don't understand how you don't give credit to the Lions. If you throw 5 interceptions, absolutely, according to Rob G stats, that means we're going to lose this game. But I knew, and I timestamped this text that I had to a buddy of mine. He was talking smack about the Lions, and I said, they're going to find a way to come back and win this. And to your point, it wasn't solely just the Lions. It was that the Texans weren't doing anything with those turnovers. If I give you 5 interceptions, you better do something with those. And shout out to Aaron Glenn, who I've had some issues with, the defensive coordinator for Lions over the last few years. He had some good games, some bad games, some bend but don't breaks. They were able to come in there, and you saw Dan Campbell look like a prophet during the interview at halftime. Coach, what do you need to do to get back in this thing? Our defense has got to turn somebody else. Interception live while the man is telling us.
What is he going to say to you at the half?
He could have said a million things. He literally said get a turnover.
Of course you need a turnover to turn it around.
If we just score points, we don't. If we just score points. And he literally called it right as they're getting the interception. So the issue for the Texans is they didn't do anything with those. That's how I knew the Lions were going to mess around and win this thing. Because Jared Goff, you can't keep giving somebody chances. You can't keep giving an offense chances that has scored a lot, that's leading the league, one of the top league points per game. And they kept giving the offense chances, the Lions, and they kept giving them chances to stick around, and that's what happens. And you kind of didn't like the point, but I love the point. On a championship run, you're going to have so many close games. You're going to have games where you feel like, whoo, we escaped out of that by the hair on our chinny chin chin. You're going to have blowouts. You're going to have games where you come back from behind, and that's a part of a championship caliber team. They didn't fold. They didn't say, oh, it's just not ours tonight. Oh, Jared Goff didn't just say, man, it just ain't my night tonight. He kept telling his team, and I'm not saying what I think. He literally said, he kept telling the teams, y'all keep keeping me in this. I'm going to figure it out. And he did that. That defensive unit came to ball, and I have to absolutely. And a kicker who wasn't even in the NFL has had an amazing season this far. 58-yarder.
I hope he doesn't miss one in the playoffs.
58-yarder, 52-yarder to win it. Very, very great comeback for me. And I just look at the team as that's the similar two things happen for two teams. We'll talk about the other one later. But two teams who are the best two teams right now, if one, not 1, 2, and 3. They found out how to win and find a variety of ways to win, and that's what a championship caliber team does. You're not going to be blowing out everybody.
It ain't about blowing out people. What I'm trying to tell you is this is who the Texans are. You can't show me what the Lions did that was different from any other team to the Texans in the second half.
Well,
I gave you all the numbers.
And let's go back to the numbers.
I gave you all the numbers.
Can I go back to the numbers?
Okay, go ahead.
You said they're averaging 9 points a game in the second half. The Lions gave them 0. 9 points.
No, but they got no touchdowns. Zero
but they're scoring. I don't care if it's a field goal.
Touchdowns in 4 games, though. 0.
In order for us to win this game, they shut them down to no more points. But they also,
you can look at the 5 interceptions, but they also gave you back 2 interceptions.
They did.
So it's a 3 interception.
So what I'm saying is, why is that not a credit to the Lions defense? That's what I'm saying. Aaron Glenn's unit shut it down.
I'm saying that the Texans are the same team all year, which is they don't do anything in the second half, is what I'm saying. It wasn't like, this is my point. Mm-hmm. The Texans are averaging 21 points in the second half all year, or the last 4 weeks, and the Lions shut them out in the second. Oh, my God, the defense was unbelievable. How did you shut them down?
The Texans
It's just like the Kansas City Chiefs. They can't score in the red zone. You want to give Denver all the credit that the Chiefs had 6 points in the second half, 2 field goals? This is who the Chiefs are. They don't score in the red zone, is what I'm trying to say to you, is that the Lions didn't do something different to the Chiefs. Just like I brought up the Cowboys. The Cowboys got beat like a drum again. This is who they are.
So I guess what I don't understand is, anytime a team wins, they did nothing. It wasn't the fault of the other team.
No, that's not what I said.
The Lions literally held them to no points.
That's not what I said.
They scored 13. They didn't fold. They didn't just say, oh, it ain't our game tonight. That happens. They didn't do what the Ravens have done.
How many people think
times.
that the Texans choke? Do you think that people think that Texans choke last night or not?
I'm sure, absolutely.
Okay.
People think the
All right, that's my point.
The Texans choke for sure.
It ain't.
All I know is
but
what I'm saying is you're making the Texans look like a horrible team. They were 6-3 going into this game.
But I'm giving
They're
you
a
the
quality
numbers.
team.
No, they're not. When they haven't scored in the second, they haven't scored a touchdown in the second half in 4 weeks.
Then why would you
That's
pick
not
them?
Equality.
You're not making any
No,
sense right
because
now.
I told you Jared Goff was going to throw 4 picks.
So then,
I thought they would cash him in. That's why I picked them.
okay.
So I was right.
They scored 9 points a game
I
in the
was
second
right.
half. The Lions held them to none. The Lions themselves, who did not have a great first half, turned around and scored 13 in the second half. So my point is the Lions did exactly what they were supposed to do. And the Texans, yes. C.J. Stroud, by the way, has a bunch that he wants to get back.
He ain't the same a quarterback as he was a year ago
not.
when everybody said they were going to the Super Bowl. I'll tell you
and
that.
they're still a good team, and I would love to be the coach of this team next year.
I don't think they're a good team right now.
No, they're not right now.
I don't
and
think
part
they're
of
a
it,
good team right now.
Part of it is they've been injured. The offensive line
Whatever
isn't great.
they're just not that good.
But I'm saying this team is still a good team in the future, and even this season, they're still going to. I wouldn't want to play them. They're still going to have some games that they'll beat some teams that we're going to say, where'd that come from? C.J. Stroud looked really good the first half. He forced a lot. I think he was uncomfortable. I think he felt like his offensive line was had they been earlier in the season. He forced some things. I think he was freaking out, starting to get scared back there. But overall, again, I just think you're looking at the best team in the NFL, a team that is able to win a multitude of ways. And I don't
think they're better than the Ravens. I don't care what the record is. I
do
not. Even with their bad defense, I don't think that they're better than the Ravens.
That's fine. If you want to pick, I'm not mad. The Ravens are the Ravens, but to me, I'm looking at the Chiefs and the Lions and the Ravens as the top 3 teams, and I'm taking the Lions over anybody right now, just based off of the multitude of ways in which they can win. And I think last night was another night that they were able to do that, and I was impressed by that because you kind of go, all right, they're not going to go 7-1.
So if they lost and Jared Goff had 5 interceptions, would you say the season's over?
No.
Okay.
Why would the season be over?
Okay. That's what I'm just
Wait,
curious.
that doesn't even make sense. Why would
I
the
want to
season
say
be over? I'm saying that they're not going to go undefeated. They're going to lose. They're probably going to lose 1 to 2 more again, maybe for the rest of the season. I don't care. As individual, one singular game, as opposed to what they've done now for 2 years. The second half of 2 years ago. Last year and this year. They look great. They look like a great team now. They look like what we expected to how the Chiefs had that run where they look like a great team for year after year after year after year.
All I'm going to say to you is the Texans choked in that game because they didn't cash in. You can't get that many, and the record that Rob G gave us is proof positive. You're supposed to win that game. You can't choke that game down. That's a choke. That's just like when the Warriors were up 3-1 against the Lakers. I mean the Cavs. You could say, "Oh my God, LeBron came back." That's a choke job because guess what? Nobody had ever done it in the history of the NBA.
But I think that proves
It's
to
a
me
choke
more
job.
if that's the case.
There are choke jobs in sports, and that's my point.
How do you get it done? You have to be participatory. There's 2 parts to this. I have to get it done. LeBron has to go 41-41 triple-double. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not disagreeing.
Okay.
But
All
I'm
right,
saying
let's do
it's a participatory thing.
877-99 on Fox. 877-996. Did last night's game say more about the Lions or the Houston Texans? We'll continue that conversation next with you. Andrew in Bakersfield, California. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
What's up, guys?
What's up, man?
All right, so the Lions game, one thing I noticed was if Jared Goff has 5 picks, okay, it seems to me like they're forcing the pass. And then when they started to run the ball, you got to have a good balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the defense expects the pass, what do you expect? If the defense expects the run, then they can jam it up. But that's what I noticed.
Well, okay.
All right,
Andrew, did they choke or not, the Texans? Yes or no?
Well, I was listening to the game on Fox Sports Radio, with updates, and so I don't know what I missed. I thought the Texans had 4 interceptions, and the Lions...
They had 5, and the Lions had 2.
If you're saying, I don't know if he meant through the interception or got, but either way, thank you for the call, Andrew.
Yeah, appreciate it. Scott in North Carolina.
What's up, Scotty?
You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Doing well,
good.
brother. Appreciate the call.
What's up?
Yes, the Texans definitely choked to get 5 interceptions and not put points on the board. Definitely choked. I think this game told us more about the Detroit. You stop the run and make Jared Goff pass. I don't think he's the same guy. I honestly don't think they're the best team in the league or in the NFC East. I think the Eagles are better than them. When you look at
I'm sorry, you said you think the Eagles are better than the Lions?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
when you look at the
Okay.
head coach, the head coaches are saying the offensive line is the same. They can run the ball, and the Eagles have a way, way, way better defense than the Lions does. And we have equity. We did it before we reached the Super Bowl. So I mean, it just told me a lot about Jared Goff.
And
you stop
that-
the run.
I'll take that bet, Scott.
And that is the big thing. That's why you've heard people, analysts and whatnot, say about Jared Goff. It's like forcing him into throwing the ball as the offense, and that's not what you want. That's why when he had the big when they were winning and he's having the high percentage, he wasn't throwing the ball a lot. He had 3 touchdowns and 83 yards because he's not throwing a lot. They're a running team, and I get it because it works, but you don't want Jared Goff throwing the football.
Ain't nobody
as
debating
like
that. That's their strength, running. 2 running backs, Montgomery and Gibbs. Get busy.
Yep. Dion in Texas, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Dion?
Hey, what's up, gents? Hey,
What's up, man?
Last caller, sorry, bros, but Dan Campbell ain't no Sirianni. We taking Dan Campbell off.
Now, I don't know what he was on, bro.
Me neither. He's on that fanboy stuff. But look, check this out. I think we learned a lot about both teams. I mean, just keep in mind, Houston was just playing a last-place schedule last year. This year, they're playing a first-place schedule because their quarterback was a beast last year.
Mm-hmm.
He played without a few of his receivers, his top-notch receivers, and they made a few mistakes last night.
Mm-hmm.
That's to be expected. And we learned a lot about Detroit because, hey, no matter what, they went on the road. They beat a good team that's going to be in the playoffs most likely because they're going to win the AFC South, but they beat a good playoff team. And they just never quit. They showed their pedigree. They showed their DNA.
I mean, you don't want the game. It wasn't like, why would they quit when they were down in the first half? There was still a second half of football.
That's correct.
To go. I mean,
You're right
You're
about
saying
that.
the Lions?
Yeah, like they weren't down to like by 40. They were
No.
within. It was 23 to what was it? 23 to.
You talking about going in a half?
Yeah,
I think it was
But that's the
23
point.
Yeah.
But Rob, that's the point. That is the point that those guys
23-7.
they played the way that they always play, and that's why they won. They didn't give up, and they showed who they are. That is championship pedigree.
Yeah.
Those guys are the best team in the NFC. Thanks for the call.
Talk that talk, Dion. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, they were down 23-7.
It's not the game's not over.
Yeah,
at
it's
that
not
point.
over. You can play, but you know what? Listen, you've been watching sports way too long that I
40
understand.
years.
Some people already tap out. All right, man, we're gonna have to get them next game. All right, what we gonna do? Damn, it just wasn't our night. You know, it's okay. It wasn't our night. That happens, and they didn't. They chose not to. They chose to keep competing and find a way. And got that turnover right, literally first play of the second half definitely helps. They didn't even really score off of that, but just getting them back in their mojo.